we've gotten to this part where we're reusing slides from another PowerPoint presentation. We've done text boxes, tables that came with the chart. Remember when we did the pie chart, it started a little table for us. It was like an Excel type table. So let's see where we ended up, just to review a little bit how we reused those other slides. What we did, we found another PowerPoint presentation. This one here, we found that over in the downloads from the online resources. The easiest thing to do, remember, we just drag that slide from that presentation over to ours, and it knows automatically to change it into the color scheme of the one we're dragging to. We're going to now adjust the order of the slides. This slide is actually going to be our title slide. I can drag it up to the first one just by clicking and dragging it to the top. They show you in the book that you can always go to Slide Sorter View and adjust them there as well. Slide Sorter View, that's much more handy when you have like 20 slides or more. A lot easier to move things around. One little hint I have, or a suggestion, if you're doing a songs set for a group, and sometimes you want to change the order of your songs and there's multiple slides, what I like to do is have a slightly different colored background for each song. So then I'm in Slide Sorter View and they're all kind of small like this. It's easy to tell, oh, those 4 slides go with one song. I can select them all together and adjust the position in my other songs. So Slide Sorter View, not so useful when you only have 4. The normal view, it's easy enough to just drag these around. And I think then this was going to become our second slide. Then what we're going to do is then adjust our image. Oh, it looks like only that. Yeah, that's right. Those become the first 2. Yep. So normal view or Slide Sorter View, adjust these slides. As you zoom in, they will wrap around and rearrange themselves, but generally left to right, top to bottom. Okay, so back to normal view. And now this slide here, we're going to replace that picture and start messing with a little bit more details of what we can do with image effects. So this picture, it doesn't have anything to do with sleep, so we're going to look for a picture relating to sleep. They have one that came in the downloads for that. I'm going to go find that one by doing Insert, Picture, and I'm going to browse over to where I downloaded and unzipped those files. Let's see if I can find where I put them. Over on the PC, in my extra drive, down in my documents, cs101, spring 2020. There's where I unpacked them, modules 1 to 3. There's the module 3 that I unzipped. And down in there is PowerPoint 3 module files. And there is finally the picture that they had provided for us. And I either double click on it or select it and then click Open or Insert. And now that picture now has been inserted right into my slide. I can enlarge that. I'm going to delete that one and then enlarge this one to fit. If you have any trouble with that image, remember what else you can do. You can insert an online picture and look for something. Let's see if we can find this. We might even be able to find this one. Let's look for sleep pillow. Someone sleeping on a pillow. And I would trust Microsoft to have appropriate pictures. That one wouldn't be a bad one, sleeping on a pillow. Looks very relaxing. This guy here, that wouldn't be bad. Going to images.google.com, they are not so careful in their filtering of images. So be careful getting images of pillow. Even that one had a questionable one there. We have that picture. We're going to make some adjustments to it. So we got rid of the plain one that didn't have to do with sleep. Now we have this picture, and going through the similar image adjustments that we learned in Word, and let's see if they're much different than here in PowerPoint. About the same thing. I don't remember. Did we crop pictures when we were in Word? I don't remember if I taught you how to crop them. Select the picture underneath Format. There is my cropping tool right there. Upper right. Click Crop. And all the corners and sides become cropping tools. As I drag them in, I can adjust how much of that picture I want to focus on. And let's see how much they suggest in the textbook. We're slightly cropping from the right side, not so much from the left side yet. It's easiest to grab a corner because I can adjust two edges with the corner. Cropping in about that far. No need to be super fussy. And let's see if we crop much more in from the left side. They didn't crop it much more from the left. Once I'm done cropping, then I click off of it or hit the escape key. Escape key, and that will end the cropping. You can also apply a shape. You can crop to a shape. Underneath cropping, you can actually choose a shape to crop the image to. Sometimes that's handy, like this is kind of a cloudy, sleepy. I could crop to the little cloudy, sleepy shape. Kind of neat capabilities. Remember, you can have a shape and do the fill with a picture, or have a picture and then crop it to a shape. Remember, that's under the cropping tool, crop to shape. If you'd like to do that, you're welcome to pick a shape to crop to. Now we're going to adjust our picture colors. This is something that you really can't tell what you want to do without having the projector that you're going to do your presentation on. I am just guessing based on my monitor, but I can tell that one looks a little more, at least from here, it looks more yellowish on the screen monitor than here on my computer monitor. So don't trust your colors. If it's critical to your presentation, adjust your colors using a projector you're going to present on. But let's just assume we know what we want to adjust to. So I have my picture selected, and then I go to my Format tab, and over in the Format tab, here's where I can adjust my colors. Now there's multiple things. There's corrections, there's color adjustments, and there's artistic effects. We're going to do the color button first, and we're going to adjust our color tone to be slightly bluer. The second from, the very far first, temperature 4700. Gives a much bluer picture in the tone. Going to do a little bit more adjustment. We're also going to adjust artistic effects. We're going to choose the crisscross etching effect. Let's see what that would look like. Come back to here, select the picture, Format, artistic effects, crisscross etching. Is that the one? Yeah, crisscross etching. Doesn't look as strong an effect as the others. Kind of interesting, the other effects. You know, if you would like to be creative with one of the other effects, you are welcome to try one of the other effects just for fun. Some of those really bring out her tattoo on her arm there. That one it's not a whole lot, it's very subtle. I guess I look close, I might see some crisscross etching. I kind of like that one. That makes me sleepy. That one looks kind of scary. That one looks interesting. Little plastic wrap. I'm going to go with that one. That looks sleepy to me. Dreamy and sleepy. Okay, so we apply the artistic effect. And then we're going to soften it a little bit here. We have some softening underneath the corrections. Go back, have it selected. Underneath corrections, I can adjust the sharpen soften. Kind of basically making it a little bit more out of focus if it wasn't already. I actually wrote computer programs when before I came to math, I wrote computer programs like this that manipulated graphics. A lot of fun stuff. Graphics and image adjustments. Okay. And now that we have the actual look of the picture adjusted, now we can go to our picture styles. Just as we did it in Word, remember this, if you choose a style, or if you choose any custom effects, they get wiped out if you choose a style later on. So pick your style, and then you can add more effects. So in the book they pick this style. If you'd like to pick another style, go ahead, pick a style. But then if you ever reset, it will reset any custom shading or glow that we do. So I choose the 3D style. Now I can still adjust its size, although you don't know what it's going to really look like until you let go, because then it reapplies the 3D after adjusting. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'd like to get the picture to fill the screen. And remember, with some projectors, it may look different on this computer than on your projector, so I'm going to leave a little safety border, a little padding around, just in case. And to know for sure what it's going to look like, I can always come down here and click the slide show, and that fills my screen pretty nicely. So what did we do? We cropped it, applied a coloring, applied an artistic style. Also, we changed the tone, and now we resized. Let's see if they want us to do anything else. Just to practice our imaging, I also moved it around already. You saw me do that. Just click and drag when you have the double arrows. And as you drag it around, you can either align it. You'll see snap guidelines pop up when I'm exactly in the center. Or if I want to let the computer do the work, I can come over here to the rotate. Is that the no? Here, the alignment. I can align it in particular locations. Center, it's already aligned center. Let's try middle. Didn't make any adjustments there, so it's already snapped to the middle. I can tell by as I move it, it kind of snaps to that center location. So alignment. Sometimes, though, it depends on the graphics. This one has some graphics on the left, so actually lining it directly in the center of the slide kind of pushes into the graphics here. I think with this graphics, I want it to move to the right a little bit. I'm going to use my right arrow key to adjust it to the right a little bit to fit in the center of that empty area on my slide. Because of the graphics, I think it looks better just a little to the right. Now if I view it full size, I think that fits a little better. It doesn't bump into these nice little wispy graphics. And that's more stuff to your taste. It's not critical to the information in this presentation. Now we're going to bring in some word art that lets us do even other interesting effects that are available in Word as well, but graphics are much more effective. PowerPoint is meant to emphasize your graphics as you present your information. So we're going to bring in a word art by going into Insert, Word Art, and it's the third one from the left, second row down, the greenish olive green letter A. Click on that. It automatically sets it centered on my slide with the text selected, so I'm ready to type in. Replace that text with this text. It's going to say, sleep well tonight. Sleep well tonight. Our entry, our title slide. I'm going to make that a little larger here. Well, yeah, I'm going to make that larger. I'm going to select the text, Control A to select all, and now I'm going to enlarge that text to fill the screen nicely. And now I'm going to adjust its position a little bit, right there maybe. Now comes the extra effects you can do with word art. Can't do this with regular paragraphs. We're going to change our word art by doing some text transform. It has to be selected. Then underneath formatting, there is, where's my text transform? Is that it? Yes, transform underneath effects And down in the transform section, I can slide down. And as I hover over them, it kind of gives me an idea what it's going to look like. Hover over all the text transforms you can do. Some of them are more subtle than others. They would like us to choose the little wavy one. I think that's the one. Is that the one we want? Yeah, we want to choose this little wavy one right here. It's called wave down. Remember how those little, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here for you. Remember how those little yellow handles can adjust some effects? Well, that's what happens when I grab this little left yellow handle. That will adjust the thickness of that wave. This little yellow handle will adjust the tilt of that wave. There's the one on the upper left. Oh yeah, and the effect we're talking about is under transform. It's wave down, that one right there. And it's really not a big deal which wave you choose, but waviness kind of implies serenity and peacefulness. There's other ones, some are a little more interesting than others. Wedges and just a little slant. A lot of people don't know about those cool transforms. It only applies to word art. You can't do this to just regular text boxes, I don't think. Let's just make sure I'm not lying to you. Let's insert a text box just to see. I'm going to insert a text box and see, can I apply those effects? Let's see if it'll let me apply styles to that. Nope, see there's no wave or transform. I can apply fills and things, but text boxes aren't quite as flexible and cool effects as word art. So I'll get rid of my plain text box. Okay, so we have Sleep Well Tonight. Let's see if they want us to do any more modifications just for practice. I can give it an exact height. In the book, if I have it selected under Format, I see its exact height. I'm going to make it a little taller, change that to 1.5 in the height. Not 1,5, 1.5. And if I click off of that, I will see it just adjusted slightly larger. They adjusted it a little further down. I'm going to zoom out to see if I like that. In the book, they adjust it down to, not the picture, the text. They adjust it down to about there. I think because of that text, I'm going to bring my picture up a little bit on the slide. And partly because I have that 3D effect. And I think we do want that wave to be just over the picture. Something like that. Not going to be fussy. Now with that text, they would also want you to have practice adjusting the 3D effect. So have that selected. Back underneath the formatting, there's also 3D rotation. And to apply one built-in, a mild, slight rotation. See the effect of that? Just a slight rotation, adjusting of it. That'd be a little wilder. These are even more wild effects. But that perspective effect. And if you want details, complete control over your 3D, you can go to 3D rotation and click 3D rotation options and have complete control over your angles. That's the angles of the shadow over the 3D. There we go, 3D rotation. I could adjust these completely custom or use a preset. So those presets, or I'd take a preset and then modify that. Remember that format shape comes up. Very handy to know how to get to that. Whenever I have a special effect, I remember 3D rotation, presets, but way down at the bottom is those extra effects. Pops these menus up, gives you complete control. Lots of stuff in there. Can be confusing, but if you want to be an expert, you want to be that PowerPoint ninja, get familiar with these other menus. They are very helpful to give precise control over all the effects. And get it out of the way, I can close that. Now the text is not bad. It's a little lacking in contrast because you have a little bit busy image behind that. We want that to be more readable. They actually do move the image, the text below the image. If I want it to fit below, I guess I need to resize that image a tiny bit so the text isn't scrunched up against the edge. But they would also like to fill that text with a solid rather than that pastel gradient. So to do that, I have the shape selected, the Format tab, and I can choose Shape Fill and Text Fill. Shape Fill would apply to the background. Text Fill is what I want to apply to the text. And for that text, I'm going to choose a darker green. There we go. Darker green fill, olive green. Little easier to read. And again, testing it on full size. Yep, my audience will be able to read that. Remember, it's the word art styles, not the shape style. If I mess with the shape style, I will get the background. I don't want the background to change. I want to leave the background transparent. Change the text. And they would also like to put a red outline, although I don't think that goes great with that. Let's just see. The outline, that would be text outline here. And choose a red outline. And I give it a little bit more contrast to that. Drop shadow was typical what people will do, but they also applied an outline. Now suppose I like the effect of word art, but I just have this plain text here on slide number 2. Control your exposure to light. Can't do the cool things that I could do on the other. How would I change that? Well, I can, having that all that text selected, Control A, select all that text while I'm inside of it. I can change it to word art, and just by just coming over here and applying a word art style to it, this one here, and now it should be word art. How will I know? Let's check. Oh, look at that. I can now transform it. So just changing it to word art didn't make a great change to it. It did apply a text color. But now I can adjust that word art and do all the cool things I could do with word art. They don't have us mess with that, but I'm going to let you, if you'd like to, practice your transform. If you want to give that a little wave too, or one that would go with controlling exposure to light, I'll give it just a little bit of wave just for interest. Let's see what happens if I adjust the horizontal length here. What happens? Will it wrap the text for me? Yep, it wraps the text for me if I adjust the size of that box. But I think that nice large side is actually pretty nice. This text here, way too small. We'll be adjusting that in a minute. Now we're getting to something that's can be very effective, can be distracting if you do it too much. But in this class, you cannot be too distracting. You are welcome to go crazy with animations here because I want you to be experts at it, and then you can always back off and not be so wild. So this one, we're going to animate this, having it appear. But let's go over animation. These things, many people are confused by it, but it can be very effective. Right now, if I view this slide, everything pops up, no animation happening. The only animation is I go from one slide to another. But suppose I want to emphasize something on my slide, like this text coming in. People will pay attention with a little movement. I have the text or the word art selected. Remember, I converted to word art. To apply an animation, I go to my animation tab. And let's just see what kind of animations I have available for me here. Not only those 6 or so, or 5 there plus nothing, I can click the Show More button, And I have green, yellow, and red animations. The green are the entrance animations. Let's apply a green fly in. Make sure I'm getting the right one. Yeah, the float in. Float and fly are about the same thing. Float is just a little slower. I'm going to choose the float in animation. It's the green one. Let's see how that appears. By default, when I show the slide, that will be hidden. Until I click, then the animation will take place. The float in means it kind of fades in. If I do the back arrow, it will redo the animation. If I click again or hit the arrow forward, it appears and then slowly floats up a bit. If I decide I want that to be fly in instead, I could just click fly in and it changes the one I used. And now see how different fly in is. It flies all the way from the bottom. So float in or fly in, I can always change it by clicking a different green one. Now that's my entrance. Remember, entrance means you don't see it. It's not visible until that animation happens. Now let's take a little better look here what's on this ribbon. Over here on the right is the default timing. By default, it's waiting for me to click. And by default, it lasts for 1 second. And by default, there is no delay. I can adjust those as we learn more of an animation. But remember, I have applied one animation. It's a green entrance animation. It's invisible now until that animation happens. All right. If I decide I'd rather have it float in from the top, I have applied the float animation. Notice with that animation there are effect options, and I can adjust the effect options by clicking here and choosing a float down instead of a float up. If I had chosen fly in, the fly in has other effect options. I can fly in from different directions. So depending on the effect you have, you will have different effect options available to you. So you want to become an expert on the various animations, and as you play with them, you'll become an expert just by your experimentation. So that's the one float in. If I click on the object, I see there's a little number 1 appearing there. That's telling me there is an animation associated with that. And you also see this little guy over here, a little star showing there's animations happening on that slide. Okay, so now there's a little more we're going to do. Rather than have it waiting for me to click, I can change the animation option over here. In the animation part, with that selected, I can change that animation option to be start with previous, meaning it's going to immediately start floating as soon as this slide is shown. Let's see what that means. As soon as I go to play, it immediately floated down. And I go to previous slide, go to this slide, so I don't have to click again when I come to this slide. Sometimes you like that, sometimes you want to wait for the click. So now we're giving you a practice. I can adjust my start of that one animation. The number changed here from a 1 to a 0 because it happens as soon as this slide shows up. Yet we're not done. We're now going to add or change the duration of that floating down. Then we'll be playing with other animations. So change the duration instead of 1, slow it down a bit, change the duration to 2 seconds. And I can always preview over here to see what it's going to look like as I present my slide. The preview button over there on the left. Okay, so we're done with that particular animation. That object on my screen has an animation attached. Now this text, we want this to be animated, but first thing I do, because this is driving me crazy, I'm going to select all that text and enlarge it. It's way too small. Enlarge that text, make it a little more readable. That at least, I'm going to go as big as possible. And now we can animate that. If I just have the box selected and I click animate, notice there's nothing animated yet. we're going to add an animation. This time we're going to add a fade animation to that. Let's try fade. As soon as I try fade, notice how it kind of gives me a quick preview. I'm going to adjust the fade duration to be 2 seconds. Remember, I'm selecting something else, so this animation is not affected. I had this selected and animated this. And it gives me numbers where that text is going to be fading in. And I can adjust the duration. Okay. In the effect options, because I had the text selected, it was already coming in by paragraph, which is what I wanted. If I had the whole box selected, it would have said, oh, you must want that to appear as one object, and I can come back here and change it to appear by paragraph. So by paragraph is what we want. Oh, wait a minute. They want us to change it to all at once. Sorry, it was by paragraph. They want us to change it to all at once. Watch what happens when I click all at once. Before it, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I select that, change the effect options to all at once. Gives me the preview. I come back to here. Now it shows me they're all happening together. That's why I see all ones there. Select it again, and I could adjust my effect options back to by paragraph. I prefer the by paragraph unless there's a reason to show them all at once. I think it keeps your audience a little more attentive. They say, hey, what's coming next? Oh, it's exciting. Not sure what's happening next. Give them a little something to look forward to. That's what animation's about. Keeping your audience, their attention, helping them to remember your subject. Okay, so now I've done a lot of work here. I'm going to Control-S, save this. And now we're going to add something here to this right side. This placeholder has been waiting for us to put something there. We are going to bring in a video. I'm going to click on the little video. And we're going to bring that from a file that we have downloaded and unzipped. Guess where we're browsing to? That same folder that had unpacked everything. And there's a support ppt3 awake video clip. Click on that. Because it's a placeholder, it will fit within this little box when I click that MP4 file and I click insert. And oh, I guess I have to click. There we go. Now it's inserted. There's the video that's going to play. Let's just see what this video is going to look like. I'm going to go. How about I go play here? See if it goes full screen. It's slowly playing through, and I think zooming in on him, so I think he gets up. Yeah, he checks his clock, puts it on snooze or something, and then goes back to sleep. Did you find the video, Emmanuel?
No.
Do you have the files you unpacked? Did you do the insert video and then browse to where you unpacked those? I'll do that again here. Click on the video. Browse to click from a file. Mine are over here in this. Let me go up a level. In this 9705 file, go down into there, mods 1 to 3. Go down into module 3, module 3 data, PowerPoint 3. Have you extracted them? If you haven't extracted them, PowerPoint isn't going to be able to find them. You have to extract them. Extracting them can get a little tricky.
Video has like you know, like the green like dotted line.
Yep.
Has that.
Yeah, we can get rid of those. I'm going to go turn off the grid. They are kind of irritating. I'm going to turn off my grid lines. Now, what we want to do with this video, we're going to adjust that video a little bit. We've inserted it. We can resize it just like any image. So if it's a little small here, and I think we can even crop it. Let's enlarge it a little bit. I can resize it just like any picture. Let's see if it'll let me crop it. I don't remember if I can crop a video. Yes, there's a cropping tool. I can even crop a video. Pretty cool, huh? I can apply a 3D effect to a video. It's kind of hard, though, for slower PCs. The video effects can get kind of tough. I can do 3D rotations, some bevel, all sorts of effects can be applied. I think I can even apply artistic effects to a video. But, first of all, it's a little dark. We need to improve our contrasts. So, just like with any picture, I can adjust my color over here. Correction, sorry, and choose the correction, and let's see. Looks like I got to do the maximum, increase the brightness and contrast. Click on that. Now, as I play through that, I think I can adjust that. Yeah, I can grab that and slide back and forth. I can see that, yeah, that's a little better contrast. Okay, so video, I've adjusted the contrast, but yet there's more that I can do with videos. We're going to set it to play automatically. That's set on the Playback. In the Playback tab with the picture select or the video selected, I can choose. Where is the play options? Video options. Play full screen start. Automatically. I can change it to start automatically when I come to this slide. And I can decide to play full screen. I don't know if they want us to play full screen. I think it looks better fit within that. Now this is something they don't show you in the book, but this is something I want you to know about. It is on the midterm. That I have a file, a video file, and I want to adjust what is playing. This little guy here called the trim video. Let's take a look at trim video and see what I can do with that. I have the whole slide there back to the original contrast. I can drag the beginning and ending portion of my video. I can have my video start right when his eyes start to move. He hears his alarm right there. And I can drag the end of it to be after he puts his phone down to have it end right there. Now I can click OK. And now when I play the slide, it's going to play automatically. It's supposed to. Oh, it's waiting for. Is it waiting for this text to be done, to be animated? Let's see. That's animated. Oh, it waits until this is done. So automatically means it waits until the previous animation was done, which was this text fading in. And see how it ended where I had selected. So I trimmed it. And then this start automatically means not when I open the slide, but when this animation is done. Now that can be confusing, especially as you have more animation. So watch this. Back here on the Animation tab, there is an animation pane that I can view. It's kind of like showing the recipe of animation here. And I see that the title entrance green happens, and then this is going to happen. Doesn't say. It should have been saying on click here. Let's try that. Yeah, that's going to happen on click. That happens with previous. I could change that to be on click. This happens with previous. And then this video then will play after previous. So this animation pane lets me see the whole sequence of things, and I can even do a play through those. I can always pause it. That's a special trigger. I can always pause the picture on there. So that animation pane, to show that, I go to the Animation tab, open the animation pane to see all the animations that are on that slide. Without the animation pane, I have a clue. I see these numbers over here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But what this means is this one actually waits until these are done, and then it happens. Let's play that again.
Is there a way to have the video pop up after the words?
Yes, yes. And I'll show you. See how it's waiting for me to click for the animation of the text? Because that's by default it's set to wait for you to click. Now that shows up, and him waking up is then set to automatically happen after the text has appeared. But Shane had a great question. How would I get the video to appear instead of just be sitting there before the text, having my audience confused? How about, I hit escape, how about I have this video not only set to play, but before it plays, have it be hidden? Well, in order to do that, I have to add an entrance animation to this picture. I don't want to change what I have already. I want to add something. So I go to the Animation tab, and don't change what's there, but do Add Animation. And I'm going to add a, how about I have it, maybe I'll do a fade in. I'll have that fade in. Problem is I added it just now, so it's coming after all the others. I can click the animation pane and grab this fade in right here that I just added and drag it above the play of the video. Put it right there. Now the video will appear and then play. And I can see that based on my little recipe. 0 green, he enters. 1 green, the text enters. 2 green, the video appears. And then automatically plays. Let's see the effect of that. I click play. Okay, that happened automatically with previous. Now it's waiting for the text to appear. I click. It fades in all together. Now it's waiting for me to click again because the automatic setting was wait for a click for that entrance. I click again anywhere on the image, and now it appears, and it's automatically set to play after it appears. So I added an entrance animation, moved it ahead of the play animation in the animation pane. We'll do more practice with that animation pane because that's very, very helpful to understand how all that works. You can't tell really how it's animating. You can just tell from the numbers, okay, these are happening first, and then this is happening second. The little lightning, that's kind of confusing. 2 things stacked on each other, something's happening together. The animation pane kind of shows you, oh yeah, that's entering. Those are appearing all together. Then it's waiting for a click. See how the on click is set? It's waiting for me to click until that happens. And this play is set for automatic after previous, meaning it will play as soon as the video appears. Suppose this one I want it to appear, but wait a little bit and start, have the guy not wake up immediately. I can put a little delay. How about a couple seconds delay for that animation to happen? Now, let's see how this plays out. That fades in, click, the text appears automatically. Well, it's waiting for me to click for the video to appear. Should be a delay of a couple seconds before he wakes up and grabs his alarm. And escape, I can always stop the animation. Escape again, takes me back to editing. So a lot of great animation tools here. Use them carefully in a real presentation in this class. Play with them, and we'll be doing more because there's so many people that don't know how to use animation, but they can make their presentation so much more effective. And it's really not that hard if you just learn how to play with the animations. So we're not done yet. Although we're done with what the book shows us, we're not done and ready to submit this yet. We will do more messing with animation, getting you prepared for the midterm coming up. But we're going to make you experts on this animation. So we'll stop here, save that. You're welcome to upload a temporary copy, and I will be uploading the video in case you got stuck on any part there. I went too fast through it. You can always go back.